Welcome back. Welcome back to Full Circle with Mikali. A very good morning to you. How you doing? Still recovering from that beautiful love story, are you? Let us know where you're tuned in from this morning. 111 It's just going to cost you a shilling to be a part of the conversation. And you can find us on social media as well. Switch TV KU on Instagram, Switch TV Kenya on Facebook. At the beginning of the show, I mentioned that we'll be talking about emotions. And we had the first bit of it at the very beginning of the show. But now we're getting into something called emotional intelligence and how huge it's become over the years. So where we looked at your EQ and all of that, we're still looking at how emotionally connected you are and how that is impactful to our day-to-day lives. And having this conversation with us is Vicky. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mikali.
I see you got the memo.
Yes,
I see you got
did.
the memo.
I did somehow.
You look really good, and I'm happy we're having this conversation because we talk about many other things, but our emotions are key.
Yeah.
Because we carry them around us. They influence how we think, how we react, and even how we relate with people.
Yeah.
But for anybody who's hearing this conversation for the very first time, maybe you can introduce yourself and let us know what emotional intelligence is.
Okay. So my name is Vicky Karoga, and I run a company called Profiles International, and we do a lot of work in the area of emotional intelligence through our partner Genos. So what is emotional intelligence? It's that ability to be able to perceive, that is, you're aware, you're able to understand your emotions. And when I speak about emotional intelligence, a lot of people tell me, yes, I'm aware I'm angry, I'm aware I'm hungry, I'm aware. And yeah, that's really good. That's the beginning.
Okay.
That's the beginning.
There's
Then
more.
you have to ask yourself, then what is the impact of my emotions on myself, on people, on the decisions that I'm making, on basically even my behavior, on my productivity. That's why I think you start really harnessing the power of emotional intelligence. And that's why it's an intelligent thing to do. And it's not a nice thing. Guys tell me, this bougie thing you're talking about, Vicky. I think for any person who wants to grow themselves, who is taking themselves a bit seriously, they need to learn about how do I use my emotions to be able to get to where I want or to do the things that I want. Because they impact everything, the decisions you make. Yeah.
And it's so tied into the conversation we had at the very beginning of the show today, where we were told that emotions, they're just energies in motion. So it's how we feel and how that affects the things that are, or the spaces that we are in. So apart from just being angry today because some things didn't work out, is what I am feeling. So I'm angry at things not working out, but then I probably sort of like manifested this space by how I felt. Are we able to really harness that or change that? Is it like it's not like a button, it's something that you need to practice?
I prefer thinking of emotions as points of data.
Okay.
Points of information. So when I know that when I wake up, and this is a skill that I have learned, it didn't just come today and I woke up doing this. I taught myself to wake up and check with myself. How am I feeling? I've taught myself to name my emotions. Okay. Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling this and this and the other? And then to ask a question, what could be causing this? Because something totally different in my life could be causing that particular emotion, and then I'm bringing it to this conversation that we're having without even knowing. So checking in with yourself is one of the ways that you can start being in touch with who you are. But why I talk about impact is because when I have taught, a lot of people understand that, I know I'm hungry, I'm angry, I know my personality. That's another thing about awareness. I'm a bold person. I hate, like Mwakazi was saying, he doesn't like conflict, and the other lady has to talk it out.
Yes.
But then what's that impact on the person that you're talking to? So we have a saying, the way you show up to people affects the way that they engage back to you.
Okay.
And that pretty much affects the outcome of that relationship.
How important is it to have this conversation or this awareness when it comes to the workplace? How is it important for that to happen?
Okay, so I'll talk about it in two ways.
Okay.
The first is in the general workplace. So you're here, you're not in a position of management or supervision. Generally, you're just there, you're doing your job. The way you feel or how whatever emotions you're experiencing is going to affect how you're going to turn up that day. Productivity, basic 101.
Yes.
Secondly, it's going to affect the kind of relationships you're going to foster. The world is moving. The world is, the things that we used to keep us in a cubicle, you know, calculating math, you know, those things, proofreading, those things are gone and they're going. We have AI now that can do those things much faster. What is left for us is to collaborate. What is left for us is to innovate, to think creatively. You can't do that if you can't be able to meet authentically with another person and have these discussions in trust, so to speak. And that's something that I guess we kind of unlearned in some areas. And so we're now trying to learn back that, you know, it's not the technical things that are going to propel us forward. And now in leadership, where I say a lot of mental labor happens because you're trying to steer people, you're meeting all sorts of people, putting them together to a certain objective. How do you create more often than not a space, a positive space, to allow them to work and bring their best selves to the workplace?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it needs to be very intentional.
It needs to be very intentional. I think like my kids say, you know, me, I'm just like that. Needs to go out the window.
Not just kids.
Yeah, we say
not
that.
Just kids.
Yeah.
We say,
I'm
yeah,
just like that.
Just like that. I've always been like this.
Exactly. It needs to go out the window. Simon Sinek, everyone knows him, I think, and he talks about why. Why are we here? Why am I here speaking to you? Why are we at the workplace? What is that overriding like goal that we have all together that's going to bring us together? That means that I must understand why I can't connect with you. You know, there's that person who's so difficult to connect to. Why is it difficult? What personality clashes are happening there? What emotions? In fact, the thing that stops you from connecting is there's a certain emotion you feel, and that emotion is not pleasant for you.
Yeah.
So you'd rather not feel it. So you'd rather not go through the whole shebang of understand it, feel it, move on. If you're the kind of person maybe who doesn't like conflict, or even if you're the kind of person who does, sometimes you're like, you know what, some things are never serious, but you need this person. So one of the people who taught me used to tell me, you must allow yourself to experience difficult emotions and experience them enough times. That's the only way you know how to react to them.
Instead of running away from them.
Instead of running. When they teach trauma specialists, they don't just wake up one day and they see blood and they're happy.
No.
They take them through it over and over again until each and every single time their reaction is calmer. Because the emotions can override you. You've seen someone acting so out of character. I mean, we call it the amygdala hijack. You just, poof, you're gone. Your logical brain out the window. And at that point, there is nothing anyone can do. When a child throws a tantrum, your best thing to do at that point is to just let them act it out. They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to take anything from you. It's the same with adults. When someone is angry, you know, you start engaging in a shouting match, but that is not effective. It's not going to get you what you want. It's not going to get the other person to calm down because he's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a conference coming up. Please tell us a bit more about it. Is it today, tomorrow?
It's actually tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, yes.
Yes, it's a 2-day conference. We bring in business leaders from around the world, actually from around Africa and also around the world, because we have someone from Australia as well. And we want to really talk about how EI can actually help us in the workplace and help us harness talent, grow talent in the workplace. I mean, Africa has been in the spotlight for many good reasons. We've seen so much happen, and I believe that if we got some of these things right, we would grow so much more further. So what we want to show people is that there are people out there who believe in EI, who have been practicing EI, and these are the results that they've actually been seeing. And so it is a must-have skill if we're going to move forward in the future.
And if we talk about a must-have skill, at what age do we start with this? Do we start in the primary school level or even lower than that? Or is it something that you get now to, because when we are doing it now, considering probably it's a conversation that we did not know about growing up, there's a lot of unlearning and relearning that is happening now. Are we able to sort of like change that and be able to introduce it early?
Yes. Every single person has their own different level of EI, depending on where you grew up. I mean, some of us grew up with parents who you threw a shoe. There's some of us who grew up with parents who had a higher level of EI. So depending on that, your cultural context, your environment, it will also be tell us what your level might be. There are many countries around the world that have started growing EI from a very tender age. I've seen people working with kids as early as 4, and all they teach them is where do you feel your emotions? Actually, that's the thing, because our emotions manifest physiologically. Okay. If I get angry, it might not be the same as you. I know for a fact if I walk into a room and I feel my stomach go a certain way, I know there's something wrong. And that actually makes me check myself again. I'm like, okay, so what is really going on, Vicky? It's again a skill I've learned, because when we're feeling unpleasant or even pleasant, but the pleasant emotions also is distracting sometimes. Yes. Eh? So when you're feeling those, they will always manifest in a certain kind of way. But over time, because of, we're always busy doing this and the other, we haven't learned to tune into our bodies that tell us so much about what we're experiencing. So they teach kids about when you're feeling these really, really tough emotions, where do you feel them? And then they ask them questions like, so what do you do? Because the thing about EI is putting a space between our emotion and the reaction. Okay. How can we be more effective with the way that we react? EI is not about being nice. It's not about me being nice to you. It's about me understanding if you've done something wrong to me, I can't yell at you. It's not effective. But I need to tell you anyway. I need to tell you in a manner that will ensure that you've gotten my message and that you will do something about it. So that's what EI is.
It's not being nice. We can't walk all over you.
No.
Just because Queen of EI was in studio today, we can do whatever it is that we want to do. But do you think it's something that we are embracing as a country? Is it happening, or is it at the beginning? Is it you leading and us trying to see where are we? What is she talking about? And people saying that bougie muzungu thing you're doing.
I don't think it's bougie. I think we had a lot of EI in our cultural context. I mean, we loved each other. We took care of each other.
That is true.
Yeah. So society had a way of treating everyone with equity. It was kind of fair through and through. We kind of forgot that. I'll give you a very simple example, okay. And because it's mental health. There's a lot of mental health going. Alcoholics, we all sit and we drink and we party and all that, but there are some people who are more geared or more they're more likely to be alcoholics. Have we ever asked ourselves that question, that so-and-so is drinking too much? This path is going, might not be, I can stop, but they might not be able to stop because they probably genetically are more predisposed to alcoholism. So some of those questions, in our Ubuntu society, we took care of those things. We tried to take care of kids from certain families, but I guess because of what happened, and it's not a bad thing, neither is it a good thing, it just happened. Those are conversations we need to start having with children, to be more mindful, to be more intentional with the choices they make, not only with themselves, but with other people around them. Yeah.
Okay. So we have a question here for you. Hello, Mikali, about emotions. Of late, I've been crying a lot. When I get angry or when my partner is harsh on me. I even tried to commit suicide. I have reached to a level I don't even see anything good in this life. Please help.
Yeah, so I'm not a mental health expert, but that comes from the point that we haven't humanized asking for help enough. That's a lady crying out for help, and she needs to see someone. I have seen someone because of anxiety attacks. COVID was hard. It was really hard. But because I'm in a space where people humanize asking for help, and she needs to immediately go and see someone. Her husband is not going to help her. He's not equipped. Neither are her friends, her sisters, her aunties. No one is going to help her other than someone who's studied how to help people in certain situations.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And thank you for that. For the conference that's happening tomorrow, location, dates, can we be a part of it?
Yes, you can. You can follow us on Profiles International. Largely on LinkedIn is where we are, but you can get us on Twitter. You can also get us on Instagram. And the links are posted everywhere. It's a virtual conference, so Tickets also have the tickets, so you just have to type Genos International Conference and you will get it.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vicky, for coming through.
You're welcome.
And for educating us this morning.
You're welcome.
That is all we had for you today. It's been a beautiful Tuesday, and I hope you are sending those kinds of vibrations throughout your day, positive, high energy kind of vibrations. We wish you all the very best. Thank you for choosing us. We do not take it for granted. From us to you, I just want to wish you a very, very good day. Let's do this all over again tomorrow. Adios.